Okay. Well, this is super weird. Um, I don't know. I guess I introduce myself the same way I normally do. Hi, my name is Nathan. I'm the pastor here at our new Genesis Point online campus. So it's good to see all of you guys. Just wanted to take a little bit of time today to do 15, 30 minutes, depending on how chatty you guys are, to answer any thoughts or questions you might have about the new plan that we just laid out in the previous video. So feel free to comment below. And by the way, I said this in the last video, but if you have a Gmail account, you do have access to a YouTube account. So they're interlinked, which means you just need to go do it through your Gmail, and then you can comment in the chat. Also, if you didn't get the chance to listen to last week's sermon, I'll provide a link for it. Here, let me do that right now. Hold on. There you go. It really is part one that brings us to this week. We talked about how to handle COVID both individually and with those around us. We talked about the shining hope that is within us and really being able to show that hope when there's fear and use this opportunity to for God's glory. Like 1 Peter 3:15 says, be prepared to give the reason for the hope that is within us. So just that we can make every COVID conversation into a gospel conversation. That's been our mission as Christians over the past few weeks. So I'm going to take let's see, what do we got for questions? Bob's got the first question. Is this a temporary change due to the virus? The answer for that is yes. It could be a pretty long temporary, depending on how things go. I mean, obviously, the reports are everything from 3 weeks, 4 weeks to 4 months. The schools, with the schools being closed, that obviously takes us out of a certain option. But it will be a temporary thing, although it may be something that we continue in some fashion of bringing back Sunday services, but also including extra content on YouTube or on Facebook. So a lot of it kind of depends on how that goes. All right, let's see what else we got. Matt wants to know if there's any immediate needs in the congregation. Is there some place to gather needs? Yes, if you can, right now, I don't know of a ton of needs within the congregation. However, if you have a need or if you know somebody who has a need, I would recommend a couple of places. One of them is to bring that up within your small groups. Each of you has your own little community that you know. So continue to reach out to that community, continue to make sure that they're doing okay. And then if that happens, if you find somebody who needs some help, bring it up to your small group or email us at genesisboyne@gmail.com. So genesisboyne@gmail.com. And we will do our best kind of working on it in the individual with a one-on-one, then working it into the small groups, and then taking it from the small groups into the church as a whole and seeing what we can do. So hopefully that answers those two questions. If you guys have anything else, then any other questions, just feel free to shoot those out to me. And while you guys take a couple of minutes, I'll just provide a few more insights into our decision process. So one of the things that we were really thinking about was, well, why do we even do church on Saturday or Sunday in the first place? And the answer for that is, besides the Bible says so, which we'll get into in a second, is we're busy. And we've always been busy. So in Exodus, Sabbath was created as a day of rest, a day to reflect, and a day to celebrate God. And it's even one of the 10 commandments. This is Exodus 20, verses 8 through 11. Remember to observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. So you have 6 days each week for your ordinary work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath day. It's a day of rest dedicated to the Lord your God. And on that day, no one in your house may do any work. This includes you, it includes your sons, it includes your daughters, your male and female servants, your livestock, however that works, and any foreigners living among you. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and everything in them. But on the seventh day he rested. And that is why the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart as holy. So that should really tell you guys how important taking a day of rest is. I mean, it made it into the top 10 commandments. However, most of us tend not to take days of rest and reflection. I mean, we barely take an hour for service to rest and reflect before we're just bouncing back into a super busy life. So now is a really amazing time for us in the sense that we can begin to reset that balance and realize that the busyness of this life isn't everything. So possibly taking some opportunities to have full on Sabbath days where you rest and where you just take the opportunity to reflect and remember who God is. And all of our elders in discussions, kind of after looking at that, was that we all agree if people want to meet together, if they want to worship together, we should never deny them that opportunity. We should encourage it. So, I mean, if we get a group, our church in Houston had a group that wanted to meet 9 o'clock on Tuesdays, and it grew into 400 people because there were just enough people who were either retired or who were moms started providing some childcare. And so, really, any opportunity that you guys want to meet together to worship, we want to provide you that opportunity. So that's really what we're doing with this. And again, as Andy said, this isn't about just watching a video because, yeah, we will have some of that. But what we're aiming for here is not just watching, but having you guys participate. So small groups, even online, are you participating? Family Bible studies that we're working on and should have out by the end of this week, early next week, is you guys participating as a family. Online prayer meetings is you participating. And so soon you'll be helping us also, and this is the one I'm really excited about, making content for this channel. That's going to be participating. And I'll give you an example of that. In the next weeks, we're going to talk about and show you guys how to record your testimonies on your phone or on your computer. And then we'll have you send them to us, your testimonies, maybe your engagement stories. And then we'll take some of those and we'll post them on our YouTube and on our Facebook. And that way you guys are interacting with each other, sharing your stories of how you've been engaging and how you came to know Christ. So as Andy said, church is not passive, it's active. So we don't want you guys just watching church. We want you commenting in the comments below. We want you sharing things. We want you participating in church. So let me see where we're at so far. Yeah, virtual women's night. That would be super awesome. Like maybe just, I mean, you guys could do crafts. You guys could looking into some cool different ideas for online games that potentially you could play together. But yeah, just doing an online, just organize 2, 3, 4 people. And I think Andy's going to be handling a little bit of our which methods we want to use. We've got a couple of different ideas between FaceTime and Skype and Zoom and Google accounts. So just trying to figure out which one works best for us with the minimum amount of the fact that we have an amazing amount of people for a contemporary church who are technologically, let's just say, behind. So yes, that sounds awesome. Yes, virtual Euchre night. We'll see how that goes. It's better than all of us touching each other's cards. So I have to say, guys, I'm excited about this. I've been the pastor here now. This was my 3rd anniversary this last week. And so I'm in my 4th year, and there are 4 times that I've been super pumped up. And I mean, like super, super, as opposed to just, I guess, normally pumped up. I don't know. And super pumped up for me. When we launched the vision, that was a big mountain to climb. And it really gave me the encouragement of, guys, we're going to make it. We're going to live to fight another day. When we had our worship hiatus and it just seemed insurmountable of, can a church really exist without a worship team? When the elders came up with Engage 2020, it was like, boom, like light bulb, this is it. And then what we're doing today. And part of it is because this is God level stuff. Like, oh, hey, we can have church together. And sometimes you're just going through the motions. And it's times when you're up against the wall and you look at this and you go, what in the world are we going to do? That's the times that God shows, because you can't do this. We can't form a vision by ourselves. We can't figure out how to have a church that doesn't have a worship team for an entire year. And Church Unlimited comes about. Having a church Engage 2020. I mean, these God-sized things. So that's, for me, that's when I get the most excited. And I hope you guys are excited about this too. So, all right, let me check. Okay. Um, Greg, that is a good question. If you can get four people to play, you are more than welcome to do it. I might even pitch in on that. Um, so, and I mean, I don't see why girls can't play, but that is a whole different conversation. So, okay, couple of other questions that I wanted to get to. Besides, Andy talked a little bit about some of the tough questions that we asked, and I just wanted to give you guys a couple of other ones. We asked, Andy talked about what is church, that we really needed to understand that before we could even make our decision. And is our decision consistent with our vision and what we've been teaching over the past few years? We were all really concerned of being like, hey, we can just do services online. It's the same thing, and you guys can just do this from home. And it's like, and we've spent the past couple of years being like, no, that's not how we do things. We want to be able to participate. We want to be able to engage. And so the idea of then just kind of doing an about face on that, and then once this whole COVID crisis was over, then doing another about face and being like, well, no, we actually want you to come back in. It just didn't sit well for us, and so it was something that we really wanted to make sure that what we were teaching or what we were doing was consistent with what we've been teaching over the past few years. But a couple of other questions that we had was, do we feel it's God telling us to make whatever decision we're making, or do we feel like it's social pressure and panic? And I know you guys can really feel these days, there's a lot of social pressure at this point. And for a culture that preaches a lot of non bullying and shaming, there's been a horrific amount of bullying and shaming that's been going on right now. And that's something that we need to be making sure we are protecting other people against, and protecting each other against, that we not get into guilting and shaming and bullying if something happens, if somebody shares COVID with us, and just making sure that we are continuing to love and to show hope to other people. But and as elders, I mean, I can say we all talked about the fact that we realize and fully accept that there will be criticism no matter what choice we ended up making. But I do want to take just like 20 seconds and brag on our elders, because, guys, it is times like these where they just absolutely shine. I mean, such amazing and prayerful conversation. I really wish that you guys could have been there for that meeting and just see them discuss and see them work through the process and pray and just seek God's direction. And once again, I mean, it's been 3 years now we've had elders, and we were all discussing the fact that we haven't had a single time where after prayer and after discussion, we haven't all landed on the same page. Every single time with every single decision. It's like God brings us, even when we're at wildly different points to start with, we always all end up on the same page. So again, what we're doing, we're following God's path. We're not following man's pressure, because as Isaiah 55:8 says, my thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, said the Lord, and my ways are far beyond anything that you could possibly imagine. So again, you guys should be proud to have them as elders. They lead with humility. They lead with submission to God, no matter how crazy the idea is. And you guys know we have had some pretty crazy ideas. I'm gonna check with us. Okay, so far we're no questions. Okay, good. I mean, I guess that means we did a good job. I'm going to cover one other thing we really wanted to discuss, and then we'll take a little bit of time if there are no other questions, and we'll wrap up. So the other question that we really wanted to discuss as elders was, how are we going to help our congregation, help you guys, help the family when they need help the most? I mean, it's times of crisis like this. We talked about this last week, that the church comes together. How can we make sure that we are helping each and every one of you guys, not only to stay level in your spiritual walk, but to continue to grow closer to God and closer to each other? And really, we feel like the thing that connects you guys, it's the most important part of what Genesis is. And the most important part of what our church is not meeting on Sunday mornings. It's not the music, it's not even the sermons. The most important part of Genesis Boyne, as Andy said, it's you guys. You make this church what it is. You make this family what it is. Almost every time we get a new person and they stick, I'm always like, okay, out of curiosity, why did you pick Genesis Boyne? And in 3 years, I can say I've had one person be like, we really liked your sermons. And okay, that's not 100% true. What they actually liked was my t-shirts, but I'm going to count that as my sermons, kind of just as a sidebar there. But what the rest of you guys, like 50 plus other people, they have said it's the community, it's the loving atmosphere that they felt like part of the family. And that's you guys. You guys made that happen. So, how we help you when you most need it is to remind you that you have each other, that we have this family, that you're connected, that you encourage you to utilize that to keep the communication up. Hebrews 6:10-12 says it this way, that God is not unjust. He's not going to forget how hard that we have worked for him and how we have shown our love to him by caring for other believers, other people in his family, as we still do. Verse 11 says, our great desire is that we keep on loving each other as long as life lasts, in order to make certain that what you hope for is going to come true. Verse 12 says, then you will not become spiritually dull and indifferent. That's what we want to try to fight against during this time with this plan. Instead, you will Instead, you will follow the example of those who are going to inherit God's promises because of their faith and because of their endurance. So here's what I want to encourage you guys to do. So for all 22 of you guys who are watching right now, plus the families engaged in watching this, I want you to take out your phones. Take out your phones. Oh, wait. You guys can't see my phone. Oh, wait. Sorry. I forgot. I'm watching this on another stream. So you guys are behind. Okay. Take out your phones. And then what I want you to do is open up your contacts. So hit your little phone button, go to your contacts. And I want you to start scrolling through your phone. And while you're scrolling through your phone, just think about which people you might want to drop a text to and tell them that you're thinking about them. Or drop a text to, ask them how they're doing with everything. Or see how they're holding up. Keep scrolling, see if they need anything. Maybe you see a few on that list that you realize might need a call because they might not have anybody else calling them. Anybody else who is called just with a concern, hey, how are you doing? How can I help? And maybe you'll see a couple of people on that list that you want to take some time and FaceTime, do a little one-on-one interaction. And I get it, we all look super weird on FaceTime. I am not overly thrilled with the video thing that is going on right now. It feels weird to me. I think that Apple does this as a weird joke. It's like, do I really look like that? And the answer is probably yes, but I prefer not to think about it. But that's your challenge for this week, to connect with some of those people on your contact list. Give them a call, do a FaceTime with them, send them a text, let them know that you care, ask them how you can help, let them know that you're there for them. Plus, whenever they talk about their fears, because let me tell you, every conversation you're going to have, COVID is going to come up. Then again, you get to use that, as 1 Peter 3:15 said, to talk about the hope that is within you. And knowing you have something greater than just today and something greater than this life. You can help calm some fears by showing hope. So the point is to let those around you know that you're there for them and that you care about them. So let me see any other questions. And then if not, we're going to take a couple of minutes to pray and then we'll wrap up. So tell you what, thank you guys for joining us today. And if you have any questions after this, feel free to email us at our email, genesisboyne.com. So let me pray, and then I'll see if there's any other questions, and I'll answer those real quick, and then we'll wrap up. God, thank you so much for who you are, and thank you for the hope that we have in you. I want to pray for a lot of the people right now who are struggling with the isolation, who are struggling with the unknown. But I want to pray that we share our hope, that we remember what we have in you, that we continue to know life is not about today. I pray for those who are struggling right now with depression, that depression is going through the roof in times of isolations, that studies say that. And I just pray that we can offer a buoy. We can offer a lifeline to people who are struggling. And I pray that we keep an open mind for people and we keep looking out for people who need our help. I pray that within this community, we keep talking to the schools, we keep talking to the food pantries, we keep seeing different places where we can make an impact and that we can share your name. And I just want to pray finally for this congregation. I pray that we take the charge to engage both those around us, but also with each other, that we continue to participate in church, that we not take this as a time off, a time to regress, but as a time to move forward, as a time to take charge, as a time to grow in you. I thank you for everything that you're doing, and I thank you for this family. And I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. One other thing that I did want to go ahead and say is I had the opportunity to talk to Lisa this week. Lisa's the principal at the elementary school, and just offer our services in any way possible. And she said we've already had multiple people from our church who did what we talked about last week, was individually have contacted. I've talked to a couple of other areas. They're all saying the church is doing a great job. Not only our church, but some of the other churches in town. So again, if you see a need, let us know. Let us know in the small groups. Let us know with that. Let us know with that email. Again, I'll just put it in the comments below. It's Genesis. Genesis Genesis Boyne @gmail.com. So that's your opportunity. If you need to contact us, we're going to make it kind of a one-stop shop for anything that you guys need. Yeah, if you guys want to share prayer requests here in live chat, that would be super awesome. If you want to email those to genesisboyne.com or genesisboyne@gmail.com, we also can get those into our prayer team. We have a prayer team that every prayer request that comes in and comments or what have you, that goes to a prayer team that is confidential. That's one of the things that we all agree upon in signing up for the prayer team. It is confidential, and we pray for those prayer requests throughout the week. Donna Schmidt does that. She does an absolutely amazing job of keeping up with everybody. Question: small groups starting this week or next. We're going to be meeting with each of the small group leaders, having that discussion on when we want to start and how we want to play it, because I'm sure that every group is going to be a hybrid of in-person and online. So it kind of depends on how big or how small they are and when they want to meet. Because again, if we've got the time, we could have groups that meet on Sunday mornings and have groups that meet on their normal night. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. So really it just kind of, I guess if you guys wanted to, you can meet every single night. But yeah, we're just going to talk with each of the group leaders, and the group leaders are going to talk with you guys. And then we're going to figure out what are the best methods, depending on how many people want to be in person, how many people want to be online. What is the best method for us to be able to have a successful small group? The curriculums will be similar, but most likely we'll have a little bit more social time, just as an opportunity for us to get to decompress from having spent however many days just locked up in our houses. So yeah, that's how we're looking to do small groups right now. We'll then kind of just go from there, because right now things are really changing. Everybody keeps saying things are changing, not by the year, not by the month, not by the week, but by the day. So eventually they may have to move completely online, but there are some excellent tools, such as there's a Google Chat, there is Zoom, that we can have up to, I believe, 100 to 150 people that could all be on camera at the same time. So there are some really cool ways that we can use that we can continue to do our Bible studies. So yeah, Andy's saying it's up to 150 people that we potentially could have in one place at one time. So that would be a maximum. And there's a possibility that we try to do that at some particular point of just doing one super massive meeting together. But that also requires everybody to download the Zoom technology or the Gmail, Google technology or something like that. So at least that's my knowledge. Andy is a little bit more adept at understanding those things. So anyway, it's been great to well see you guys, but and I just really appreciate everything that this church is continuing to do. Keep sharing stories, keep connecting with each other. And if you need anything, just let us know. So, and that again, genesisboyne at gmail.com. Wow. Did you guys hear my stomach growl? I hope you didn't. But now that I mentioned it, you all know about it. So never mind. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for participating today. And yeah, I will see you guys soon. Oh, sorry. One more thing. We're going to be working on those videos again this week. We do hope to have them all up and rolling. The Q&As, the children's curriculum, potential puppet shows, some other wild ideas. And if you guys have ideas, let us know. If you've got an idea, I keep making the joke that I'd love Shannon and Shirley to do a knitting video, and they call it Knitwits. And they do knitting, and then they do witty biblical comments at the exact same time. I haven't talked to Shannon and Shirley about this, so if you're watching, just FYI, that's coming down the pipe. But yeah, we're hoping to have that content. And if you have some really good ideas, one of the ones Jenny and I were just talking about is she's an artist. So maybe we do 3 or 4 videos with her introducing different series and talking about it. So, 5-minute videos. But if you have an idea, let us know. genesisboyne at gmail.com, or send me a text or what have you. So we'd love to get some different ideas, love to have you guys participating. We're going to have some really cool things coming up that I'm excited about that will allow you to participate with videos. So anyway, thank you guys again so much for being here. I am going to sign off, but I guess you guys can continue to chat. I don't really know how this works, but thank you guys so much for being here. You're dismissed.